Hey, what's up, you guys? It's me, Second Me, Tasha, and I'm back with another video. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. In today's video, I wanted to specifically talk about sacred space, about how can you create that for yourself, whether that's prior before ritual, or you just want a dedicated space, or for your work, or wherever you are in your journey. That's what I want to talk about. What is sacred space? Why is it important? How can you best go about it? Some tips and so forth. So if you're interested in learning how to create sacred space, then feel free to keep watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, you guys, to show me your support, and so that you guys never miss my content. But let's just move right into this, because there's a lot of misconceptions and confusion that I keep having to repeat myself with, and I want to dedicate a video about this. And let's just go about this simply. When you're creating sacred space, the goal is that you're essentially creating a soul-centered space, whether it's for, reconnecting with your own spirit, or maybe you want to connect with the divine and to set the space for that. There's different ways you can go about creating sacred space, depending on what your beliefs or traditions or path is and whatnot. Because whether you're a pagan, a witch, an occultist, a spiritualist, a witch, whatever, we all create sacred space in our own way. And that being said, you can really, really go crazy with this. Like, you can really go as detailed and like thorough with this, but it's very specific to you. And we're going to go more into this. But when you're creating sacred space, it's essentially for reconnecting with your own spirit, or to set the space for connecting with spirit in general, usually. So yes, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how you can go about this, because like I said, it is very specific to you. I honestly say that when you're creating sacred space, the important thing is to lead with soul, follow with what resonates with you. But in case you're, brand new and you literally have no specific idea on how others do this, or you just want some ideas as well to maybe incorporate or whatever, then yeah, let's get into it. So some witches, some pagans, some Wiccans, some of them like to incorporate the elements or specific deities, and or figurines and charms and whatnot into their sacred space for the sake of connecting with those specific energies or having dedication or honor for them. It's up to you if you feel drawn to do that. I know that for me personally, when I'm creating sacred space, I like to invoke and also call upon and use the energies of the elements as a way to protect and ward and create an energetic boundary for my sacred space. It's just who I am as an eclectic witch, but that's not necessary. There are times where you may be called to create sacred space before ritual, and there's times where you may be called to create sacred space for yourself. Tips for yourself, if you're creating sacred space, is just essentially you creating a sanctuary to reconnect with your own soul, or to perhaps do the work or the practice of connecting with your soul or whatever comes from that. And that could be anything of whatever you want to make it to be. Simply, you want to look at this space and feel like you're really, again, connecting or exploring this. Now, if it's for yourself, whether this has to be a shelf, or a shelf on your bookshelf, or maybe it's like a top of a nightstand or an end table, or maybe it's a corner of a room, maybe it's a whole room if you're lucky, if you're, if you got it like that, or maybe it's an outdoor space. It depends, depending on what you have accessible and what makes sense for you. But the goal is, if you're creating sacred space for yourself, you want to create your own sanctuary to where you feel like, oh, I'm with myself and I feel fine here. I feel like I can explore this and I can create work or practice, or, take with that what you will. Now, when you're creating sacred space prior for ritual, that's something a little bit different. You're more so creating the space. you're creating sacred space to do the work or the ritual or spell, whatever you are, preparing for. So that could look like, physically cleaning the clutter of the room. Then you want to, like, cleanse the space or purify the space, whether that's by incense or smoke or by sprays or by singing bowls or bells or crystals or floor washes. There's so many different ways, opening the windows or whatnot, but essentially, you're prepping. Maybe after you're done cleansing, you want to call upon the elements. Maybe you want to cast a circle. Maybe you want to put up your protection words, instead. It's up to you where you want to go from there. I'm just giving you some ideas. After you're done placing your wards, then you want to prepare for your ritual. And again, depending on what your thoughts, beliefs, or traditions or path is or whatever, that can go differently. Because, like I said, I'm just speaking generally, since I cater to a lot of people. So, yeah, creating sacred space for yourself, creating sacred space prior to ritual. And when you're creating sacred space for ritual, it really is specific to what you're about to do. If you're trying to create sacred space for perhaps trying to connect with your, specific spirit guides or something like that, then I would suggest maybe you could place trigger objects, to help you connect, or maybe some specific things that can help you boost your intuition or your third eye or things like that. It depends on what you're trying to do. But, the goal is, again, when you're creating sacred space, it's very specific for you. Follow with what resonates. But I think a good general tip of when you're creating sacred space is lead with your senses, like, seeing, smell, hearing, all of that, like, what can you, like, make sure you're engaging with all your senses so that you're really tapped in and making the most of this space or whatever you have. Like I said, even if it's like a small space or whatever. I know that when I was creating sacred space, at first I didn't really have the room, and I would have to have like little baggies I would take with me, or sachets that I would take with me out in nature. So do whatever is actual convenient and makes sense for you, but make sure that it's soul centered, it's aligned, you feel like you can actually connect, whether it's with your own spirit or with spirit in general. Think about what it means to, boost that intention of the connection or creating that space. So that's how I would best go about that. Definitely let me know if you guys have any specific questions on creating sacred space. But in general, you want to set the space for connecting with yourself or for the work you're about to do. You want to really feel like you're, like you're unplugging from the mundane, the everyday routine and everything, and you're just, focused intention. So I hope that helps. Incorporate what you feel, like fires up your soul. I hope this helps. Definitely leave your questions or comments in the below so I can help you and answer you. Thank you guys for watching, and blessed be.